As above, so below. As within, so without. This ancient Hermetic principle, highlighted in the Emerald Tablet, encourages us to see beyond what meets the eye. It helps us realize that the small parts of the universe and the vast cosmos are not separate, but are two aspects of the same universal reality. The intelligence that shapes the stars also shapes the atoms in our bodies. Today, we will dive into this universal law and see how it connects with the latest scientific discoveries and the timeless wisdom of mystics and philosophers throughout history. We'll learn how to apply this principle in our lives to become more complete and aware individuals. Known as the principle of correspondence, this law suggests that reality in all its forms is structured in repeating patterns. It indicates that everything in the universe is linked, and every small part reflects the whole. For instance, the cells in our body share the same genetic code that makes up the entire organism, making each cell a miniature version of the body. Similarly, the movement of galaxies is similar to the movement of atoms and electrons in their centers, showing that universal laws apply both on large and small scales. The law of correspondence teaches us to view the universe as a large mirror. If you want to understand reality, start by looking at yourself. Just as the larger universe affects the smaller parts, our inner state impacts the world around us. This provides a powerful idea. By changing what's inside us, we also change what's outside. From a spiritual viewpoint, as above, so below, helps us deeply understand the unity of everything. Jesus Christ wisely said, "The kingdom of God is within you," Luke 17:21. Just as the universe holds the potential for everything, humans, in their inner selves, hold the seed of the divine. The human mind both observes and creates the universe. Just as the entire cosmos is expressed in every atom, humans reflect the totality of the universe. Jesus' Hermetic philosophy states, each person is a microcosm, a small universe that, as it grows, connects and aligns with the greater universe. This shows the importance and responsibility of taking care of our own minds, thoughts, and emotions. By doing so, we also take care of the world around us. The philosopher Plotinus said, "The more a person knows themselves, the more they understand the universe and what lies beyond." This idea supports the Hermetic principle that to understand the cosmos, we must first understand the universe within us. Spiritual philosophy teaches that our inner state, our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, shapes how we see the external world. If we are calm, we perceive the world calmly. If we are conflicted, the world around us seems hostile and chaotic. This understanding shows that the barriers we think exist between ourselves and others, or between humans and the universe, are not real. In truth, we are part of a larger whole, and what happens inside us constantly interacts with what happens outside. Therefore, by changing our inner world, we improve our relationship with the outer world. For mystics, understanding as above, so below means recognizing that everything in the cosmos also exists in potential within us. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist and expert in symbolism, explained that our personal unconscious reflects the collective unconscious, a store of images, ideas, and archetypes that shape our life experiences. Just as the cosmos is always moving and changing, each person's inner world is active and vibrant. By examining this inner world, individuals not only discover parts of themselves, but also connect with universal forces and truths that are part of the entire cosmos. Thus, the spiritual path is a journey back to the universal center within us. The principle of correspondence confirms the link between the large universe and the small parts, suggesting a blend of spirit and matter, being and action, the internal and the external. Paracelsus, a renowned alchemist and philosopher of nature, said that understanding oneself is the first step toward understanding everything else. For alchemists, the ultimate goal of self-knowledge is to unite with the whole. By turning our inner fears, doubts, and limitations into wisdom, peace, and self-control, we align with the natural flow of the universe. This alchemical process balances the larger universe with the smaller parts, seeing matter and spirit as one. The principle of correspondence encourages us to view the universe as a series of layers and realities that reflect each other. It suggests a close relationship between different levels of existence, where what happens on one level has echoes or similarities on other levels. In the context of the duality between spirit and matter, the Second Hermetic Law shows that spirit and matter, though they seem opposite, are reflections of the same fundamental reality. The material world we experience mirrors the forces, ideas, and laws that operate on the spiritual level, making matter like a shadow or expression of the subtle laws and energies of the spirit. According to the principle of correspondence, spirit is the original or foundational level where all ideas and energies begin. Matter, then, is a reflection of this origin, shaped by the unseen laws and patterns of the spirit. Think of spirit as the source and matter as the image created by this source. Matter exists because of the presence and movement of this underlying spiritual energy, much like a statue is shaped from an idea. Any change we want to see in matter starts primarily on the spiritual level, whether through intention, vision, or the mind. For example, DNA is an invisible structure to the naked eye, but contains all the information needed to create a complex physical organism. This relationship between DNA and the physical body reflects the link between spirit as the source of information and energy, and matter as the expression of this essence. By aligning our minds and intentions with spiritual laws, we can influence and shape matter according to our desires. However, this doesn't mean controlling or manipulating physical reality. Instead, it's about aligning with it. Understanding that matter is just a denser form of spirit helps us realize that significant changes happen when we work directly on the spiritual level, through our intentions, thoughts, and beliefs. For example, someone aiming for prosperity understands that this abundance starts in the spirit through beliefs of self-worth, confidence, and gratitude. By nurturing these spiritual and mental patterns, the reflection in the physical world naturally appears, even if slowly and subtly. Life is a constant interaction between spirit and matter, where the goal is not to deny one in favor of the other, but to recognize and balance both. True alchemy lies in merging the spiritual world with material life, recognizing that every part of our physical existence has a spiritual counterpart, and every spiritual experience can be expressed in matter. This means that the search for meaning and purpose, often linked to the spiritual level, must have practical expression in our daily lives. When we develop the spirit through practices like meditation and introspection, we also build a stronger foundation for a fulfilling, balanced physical life filled with meaning. Ultimately, the principle of correspondence reminds us that the separation between spirit and matter is, at its core, an illusion created by our limited perception. Both are expressions of the same universal truth. Just as light passing through a prism splits into various colors, spirit appears in matter without losing its original essence. This understanding offers deep spiritual freedom, as we recognize that by fully living in the physical world and honoring our physical lives, we are also expressing the spirit. The purpose of our spiritual journey, then, is not to escape the physical world, but to rise above it, seeing it as a reflection of spirit in motion. The Hermetic saying, "as above, so below," is not just a philosophical or mystical idea, but also clearly appears in nature. When we observe the natural world, we see that the same structures and patterns found on small scales repeat on much larger scales. This link between the small and large parts of the universe is not just symbolic. It is present in the fundamental patterns that govern matter and energy. One of the most striking examples of as above, so below in nature is the phenomenon of fractals. Fractals are shapes that repeat at different scales and can be seen in both tiny objects and huge structures. Natural geometry shows that the same patterns that organize the vast universe are found in the smallest details of the natural world. For example, the spiral shape of a nautilus shell closely resembles the shape of a spiral galaxy. The same Fibonacci mathematical sequence that organizes the growth of a flower's petals also applies to the arms of galaxies. The principle of as above, so below becomes clear in this repetition of patterns, demonstrating that nature follows a universal order. This mathematical organization is known as sacred geometry, a language of the cosmos that structures everything from the movement of tiny particles to the growth cycles of plants and the formation of star systems. Nature operates through cycles that reflect each other, from the smallest organisms to the largest ecosystems. The cycle of life, birth, growth, death, and renewal is one of the most universal examples. Just as the seasons change in a continuous cycle, all living beings experience a version of this cycle in their own lives. In the human body, for example, the circulatory system mirrors the Earth's water system. Just as rivers flow to the ocean, blood flows to the heart, and from there to the rest of the body, nourishing and connecting all parts. Both follow a similar principle of flow and return, showing that the Earth and humans are organized by the same underlying intelligence. This link between the small and large also appears in the cycles of sleep and wakefulness, the rhythms of cellular activity, and the Earth's rotation, showing that the principle of correspondence is a fundamental rule in all vital processes. Another clear example of as above, so below is seen in the structure of atoms and solar systems. The nucleus of an atom, surrounded by electrons that orbit it, closely resembles the Sun at the center of a planetary system, with planets orbiting around it. This similarity has led some scientists and mystics to suggest that the basic structure of the universe may repeat itself in a holographic way, with the same pattern appearing on both subatomic and cosmic scales. This comparison shows an ordered universe where the small and large parts reflect each other. The philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras believed that numbers are the foundation of all things, suggesting that reality is organized by mathematical and geometric principles that apply both to the vastness of galaxies and to the tiniest particles. In the field of consciousness, scientists like David Bohm, a physicist who worked with Albert Einstein, introduced the idea of hollow movement. Bohm proposed that reality is not made up of separate parts, but is an indivisible whole, where the parts are not isolated, but reflections of a greater unified reality, much like a hologram. In other words, each part of the universe contains the whole, reflecting the idea that what happens at one level of reality affects other levels. Benoit Mandelbrot, the mathematician who discovered fractals, showed how these patterns are a fundamental feature of various systems. When we view the universe through this fractal perspective, each small part seems to be a smaller version of the whole. Thus, as above, so below becomes not just a philosophical idea, but an observable phenomenon in the natural world. The law of correspondence shows us how the external world, our results, health, and physical appearance, is a direct reflection of our inner world, including our beliefs, intentions, and daily habits. Every small action we repeat expresses our mindset, and when these actions add up, they create a tangible and visible reality. Just as a stone thrown into a lake creates ripples that spread out, our habits and thought patterns echo and shape our bodies and our lives. In other words, our physical, emotional, and even financial conditions result from what we consistently nurture within ourselves. Every aspect of our life reflects what we believe, desire, and practice daily. A disciplined mind is the foundation for creating healthy and steady habits. Someone with a disciplined mindset, clear purpose, and specific goals shows this inner order in their body. Mental discipline leads to concrete actions such as regular meal times, physical exercise, and practices that nourish and strengthen the body. As a result, the body becomes a reflection of this organized mind, healthy, strong, and balanced. On the other hand, a disorganized mind that easily gets distracted and doesn't set priorities tends to develop harmful habits. This type of mentality is reflected in a body that shows signs of disorder, excess weight, chronic fatigue, and health problems. When there is a lack of internal discipline, the tendency is to seek immediate comfort through processed foods, excessive inactivity, and lack of sleep. These habits provide short-term satisfaction, but lead to long-term physical and emotional decline. Consider someone who constantly procrastinates, delays exercise, and neglects the quality of their food. This person shows a state of mental disorganization in their body. Excess weight and constant fatigue then become signs of an undisciplined and chaotic mind. As the Greek philosopher Aristotle wisely said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Each small action, when repeated daily, has a significant impact. A person who spends a few minutes each day on self-care, learning, or physical exercise is planting seeds that, over time, grow into a plentiful harvest. Small acts of care and discipline, when added together, lead to great achievements and a fuller life. To an outside observer, a significant physical or mental transformation may seem like the result of something drastic, but in reality, it is the result of many small actions done consistently and with intention. Deep change happens when we understand that success or failure is, in fact, the result of small choices made daily. A simple habit, like drinking more water every day, may seem insignificant on its own, but over months, it can improve a person's skin, energy, and overall health. By changing our mindset and developing beliefs of discipline, self-care, and self-love, our daily habits begin to reflect these internal changes. Gradually, our external environment adjusts to this new internal setup. Those who have clear purpose and direction, who know what they want to build and achieve, develop habits that support that path. A strong body, a clear mind, and an organized life are reflections of a soul that has found a reason to exist and expresses it through every small action. When thinking about the principle of correspondence, we start to see that this ancient wisdom is not just theoretical. It provides a guide for living with more harmony, authenticity, and intention. Applying this principle to everyday life can help us align our inner world with the outer world, promoting clarity, emotional balance, and well-being. Just as the universe organizes itself into cycles and harmony, we must also seek this balance within ourselves. At its heart, the universe is like a lively melody, and each of us is a note resonating in the harmony of the whole. As we are on the inside, so is manifested on the outside. Our thoughts, beliefs, and daily habits are the invisible threads that shape the reality around us. The principle of correspondence reminds us that we are the creators of our own existence. Our consciousness is the clay, and our actions are the tools we use to shape it. Like a mirror that reflects the starry sky in the calm waters of a lake, life responds precisely to what we emit from our soul. If we seek peace, let us develop serenity. If we desire strength, build it with discipline. And if we want love, let it grow in us as a pure and enduring flame. Let us always remember, what we create within ourselves, the world will return to us in reflection. As above, so below. As within, so without. May every choice we make be a silent and intentional prayer, echoing through time and bringing forth the highest expression of our being. Thank you for watching.